Hello there guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Histon. And coming up today in today's video, we were supposed to have a game against Hampton and Richmond, but I've decided to change it up to this home match against Brackley Town for a couple of reasons. Number one, based off the league table, and number two, we had a couple of matches being postponed due to our pitch having a waterlogged pitch, being waterlogged or being frozen. So that has meant that the number of games, some of the games were moved after the Hampton and Richmond match that we were going to do. So in order to balance out the season a bit, we've moved it up to the Brackley Town match. So before we get into that game, let's tell you what's been happening since you were last with us, which was the double live com episode against Dorchester and Merthyr Town. But since the defeat against Merthyr Town away from home, form has been fantastic. We bounced back with a 3-1 victory for the first game of 2019 with a 3-1 win at Weymouth. Josh Green getting a stunning hat-trick after we took the lead through Josh Green after 23 minutes. Then Green made it 2-0 after 81 minutes before Donnicliffe pulled a goal back for Weymouth to make it a little bit more nerve-wracking for us, before Green then making it 3-1 and completing his hat-trick in the 92nd minute. We're going to be hearing Green's name a lot in these game recaps here, but it was a fantastic bounce-back victory and it was a huge win, considering at that time Weymouth was just behind us in the league and looking to fight in the playoffs. We then went on to win 2-0 away at Truro. Fantastic result again. Josh Green again scoring in the side 12 minutes, and James Difford scoring after 61 minutes. Then afterwards, Alfie Davidson got sent off, but fortunately for us, we were okay and we were able to keep the clean sheet. Truro didn't really create anything, despite having more possession and having a few more chances. Only one shot on target for the whole game for Truro. So fantastic 3 points again against another rival in the playoff race. I think they were just behind us again at that particular stage of the season, so it was huge to get that victory and also get some revenge after we lost against them in the League Cup. We then went on to win another 2-0 victory, this time at home to Hereford. Our first victory, I think, against Hereford in our season, in the series against them. Josh Green again scoring, so that's 5 goals in 3 games that he's now scored since the Merthyr Town game, before Justin made it 2-0 after 30 minutes. Unfortunately, though, James Difford did go down with an injury. It wasn't too serious. He was only out for 2 weeks though, because it was to do with a concussion. So that was unfortunate, but in the end that didn't really affect us too much. We comfortably won that game 2-0. Hereford again not creating anything, which is really surprising, and they're still struggling in the league at the moment. So they're really going to have to make some changes, I think, when it comes to management or anything like that, because they should be in theory dominating the league given the amount of money that they've got and the fan base that they've got, considering the fact they brought 276 fans to this match today, which gave us an attendance of 653 for a midweek game, which was absolutely insane for us, especially with the attendance. I forgot to mention as well, we had a 2-week gap between the Weymouth and Truro game because of the fact that some of the games that we were supposed to be in this the gap between Weymouth and Truro were rearranged, and that meant we had to had a 2-week break between Weymouth and Truro. But the fortunate thing was that all our injuries healed up and we were able to play a full strength side as soon as we came up against Truro. We then had a good revenge victory at home to Merthyr Town, winning this game 3-2. Sorry, I nearly lost my words there. Unfortunately, Alfie Davidson did go down with an injury after 17 minutes, but also Ashley Yeoman, who was in that challenge with Davidson, picked up an injury as well and had to come off. Josh Green opened the scoring after 46 minutes before Ollie Dunn equalised after 51 minutes. I thought, here we go. This is their standard Merthyr Town comeback here. But Josh Green then made it 2-1 after 83 minutes. After Phil Wolfe was sent off for a second bookable offence, I thought we'd go on counter just to see what happens and see whether Merthyr Town will bite at that. And it seems that they did. And Josh Green then made it 2-1 before Luke Harding headed in from a corner to make it 3-1. Kelsey Moody then scored from a corner in the stoppage time, when they had a corner at the end of the game, but they weren't able to get on the end of it, and that resulted in us winning 3-2 against Merthyr Town, which was an absolutely fantastic result for us, despite having an injury and also a red sending off for 2 of our midfielders on that game, which was a downside, but it was absolutely fantastic. We were able to get a really good result and continue a great run of form since the defeat that we had away at Merthyr Town. That made it 4 straight wins. Unfortunately, though, we did drop points away from home, this time at Hampton and Richmond, so we still haven't been able to beat this team ever since we played them in the FA Trophy. Justin May opened the scoring after 27 minutes before Howard Odamati equalised after 33 minutes. based on the stats, I think Hampton and Richmond kind of deserved to win the game on balance of play, but getting a point away from home, I thought, you know what, let's not be too harsh on the players, because at times I've been a bit too harsh on them, especially away from home. And I saw one of the tips on the Football Manager's page, and I thought, you know what, let's be assertive rather than aggressive about this particular team talk, and it seems to have paid off, as we will talk about in a minute. Yeah, it was just a one all draw, one of those things, but we still kept our unbeaten run going. And as you can see, we managed to win 4-3 in the next match against Redditch, and Josh Green scored another hat-trick. Essentially, we've written our own Will Grigg version of the Josh Green version of the Will Grigg song. Josh Green's on fire, your defence is terrified. Yep, that was terrible singing there. Josh Green opened the scoring after 8 minutes before Steve Reed made it 2-0. Then Green scored again, making it 3-0 by 38 minutes. But then Redditch started coming back. Danico Johnson and Reece Hale scoring within 2 minutes of each other to make it 3-2. Before Josh Green scoring straight off the kickoff to make it 4-2. Javier Roberts then made it 4-3 after 53 minutes. So I thought, here we go. This is when the wheels will start falling off the wagon after our draw with Hampton and Richmond. But fortunately, we were able to hold on, which was fantastic. And didn't help that Redditch's cause that Gary Roach was sent off for a second bookable offence, which meant they had no right back, and they'd used up all the substitutes. So they didn't really pose a threat as soon as that player was sent off. So we were able to get back to winning ways, and that has resulted in us picking up 16 points for a possible 18 in the 6 games that we've played off camera up to this Brackley game, and that has had a massive effect in terms of the league. And as you can see, we are currently sitting in 3rd place, 4 points clear of Dorchester and 7 clear of Brackley, who have played 2 games more than us. So we could be massively ahead of some of these teams, and also ahead of the guys who are just trying to get into the playoffs. Guys like teams like St Neots, Basingstoke, and also Weymouth as well. So, and also we're now only 6 points off the top spot Salisbury, who don't seem to stop winning, and Merthyr Town. So in theory, if we win our games, we're going to be the closest challengers to Salisbury, but their games in hand, we still have to play them. So we're not getting ahead of ourselves here today, and today is even a massively important game against Brackley, because if Brackley win, they're right back behind us. Yes, there will still be 4 points behind, but we're going to start getting sucked into the battle with the teams that are trying to make the playoffs. Also on the top goal scorers list, Josh Green's run of form has meant that he's rocketed up to 2nd place in the top goal scorers charts, and is now only 3 goals behind Dan Fitchett, who's on 27 goals for the season for Salisbury. So, without further ado, let us get on with the Brackley Town game. The last time we played against them, they did beat us 4-3 at Brackley. So, I'm hoping we can get out of this game with a positive result, as well as keeping us our feet on the ground, and also ensuring that the gap doesn't get any smaller between ourselves and the teams behind us like Dorchester and Brackley, and ensuring that we keep the pressure on Merthyr Town and Salisbury. But we're not thinking about league title or being at the top of the playoff tree at the moment. We're thinking about the Brackley Town game. So in terms of the starting 11, we're going for Reece Bills in goal. I have been playing Luke Colquhoun as he's been complaining about lack of first team football. That's why he played in the last game against Redditch, but he won't play this game. He will be playing the next couple of games because of the fact that they're against teams that we should in theory beat based off our league position. But we're going to go for Reece Bills in goal, Osifua, Osborne Utteridge, and Jordan Goff as the back 4, with Waldron and Simeon May in the midfield roles. Steve Reed, who's been a revelation recently, he's playing on the wing alongside Justin May, with Difford and Green. Difford back from injury after his the injury he sustained against Truro, I think it was, but he's back now, which is fantastic, and hopefully he will get back to goal scoring ways as well, because Josh Green has started opening up a bit of a gap over Difford. It was initially the other way around, with Difford being miles ahead of Green, but now Green, because of his run of form he's been on, he's opened up that gap quite considerably over Difford. In terms of the bench, I'm going to go with, I think I'm happy with the bench that we've got, and we're going to get into the match right now. We've got focused on defensive positioning today because of the damage that Brackley Town can do, but fingers crossed we won't need to worry about that, and we are more focused on attacking them, especially as we are at home. Looks like they're going for a 4-4-2, and we're going to do our standard closing down of players. Alan Fleming and Owen Stokes, I think that's how you pronounce his name, as the strikers. Orlando Martin, I thought that was Matt Martin, or was it? No, sorry, that's Matt Murphin. Ignore that. I thought that was a player that I recognised from all the way back in season 1 with when we had Matt Murphy in centre midfielder, but his name is Martin instead. So that was a bit of a mess up on my behalf. But anyways, let's get into the team talk. I'm going to go for that and see if that makes a motivation. Yes, that's fantastic. That's great that team talk has worked. I'm going to keep everybody having faith in everybody, and hopefully that will mean that we have a good game today as we begin the match right now. We're kicking off, I think, as we begin. It took a little bit longer than expected there. Difford taking the kick-off, ball back to Green, and here's Osborne with the ball to Osifua, and we're kicking off from left to right. Osifua taking the ball forward with May, and that is the end of the highlights. Right, Waldron has managed to win the ball off Williams there. Difford puts the ball up towards Green. He's been on fire recently. He's going to take it around the goalkeeper, and he scored. Josh Green's on fire. Your defence is terrified, and that's goal number 30 of the season for Josh Green right there today. Great impact from Difford, who's made his return with an assist. Okay, here is the highlight. Difford with a simple ball up through the middle of the defence of the Brackley Town. I don't know what the goalkeeper was doing. Green just accelerates past him and just slots it into the left-hand corner of the net. That was all. That could have been prevented by the goalkeeper there, making a really, really poor decision. But it's fantastic for us that we're 1-0 up. But there's an instant highlight here for Brackley, a free kick in, and Osifua has conceded a penalty, and it looked as if it was going to be all good, but it looks like they're going to equalise here with Grogan stepping up for the penalty here for Brackley. Please, Bill, save it. And he has. He's hit it straight at Bills, and it's been saved. Bills has once again proven his worth as a great penalty saver, and he has been so influential, being able to save so many penalties over the last season and a half here, as we now head up into half-time. Massive momentum swinger there, that we've managed to keep that penalty out, and we are going to keep the team motivated, hopefully. We might have to take Osifua off if he's continuing to have a bad game. He's a 6.4 at the moment. He looks to gain confidence after his the team talk here. We just have to see what happens right now and see how his rating progresses. I mean, everyone else in the defence has done pretty okay. There's an average rating or lowest rating out of everybody except for Osifua is 6.7 in defence. So one of those things, I guess. And then 6.5 for Steve Reed. So I might bring on Bonner a bit later on. But yeah, so the two people we're looking out for, Osifua and Reed, when it comes to the player rating. As we now begin the second half, let's keep it as it is. It will be absolutely fantastic if we can hold on to this lead. The fact that I don't understand why they had a centre back take their penalty as well. Are their penalty ratings that bad that the centre back is the best penalty taker? Right, goal kick by Brackley there. It was headed away by Utteridge though, and here's Stedman to Scully for Brackley. One back though by Goff. Fantastic work there from the left back. Here's May. Might put the ball up towards Difford here. He's in the box and he's taking the shot, and somehow it's gone into the back of the net. Don't know how Truman didn't keep that out there, but Difford now has an assist and a goal on his return from injury. Great ball from May, getting through the defence there. I don't know what happened. It's quite a tough angle there. Slots it there. Truman should really get to that though, unfortunately. How he's been beaten at his near post is unbelievable. It's one of those things really where I think the goal, he's having a bit of a nightmare when it. Right, it's time for a substitution, I think. Osifua is still on a 6.5, but I think I'm going to take him off, and his condition is only at 71, so I'm going to bring on Steve Higgs for 25 minutes or so. Let's hope that doesn't backfire. Putting Osborne in the right back position. Anybody else I want to take off? Maybe Steve Reed, but I might leave it for a minute. I'm going to just do this substitution. Right, time for another substitution with about 10 minutes to go. All our centre-backs are now on yellow cards except for the new substitute Steve Higgs, which is not good, which means we're probably more likely to have a sending off here. Danny Waldron's not looking good in terms of his condition, so I'm going to bring on Phil Wolf for him, and also he's on a yellow card. Considering his reputation of being sent off quite a few times this season, we might have to bring him off here. Phil Wolf hasn't had a good reputation either, but at least he won't. At least the last sending off he did have was a second bookable offence, so at least he won't have a yellow card, unless he somehow picks up 2 quick bookings in the space of 10 minutes, which I have faith he doesn't do. Let's do that substitution, and hopefully that doesn't backfire. Entering the last few minutes now, and I'm going to make one final change. I'm going to take off Josh Green. He's been fantastic today, and I'm just going to rest him, and I'm going to bring on Marsh Katung for 5 minutes, see what he can do, just to rest Green for the next set of games that we've got coming up. It's a fantastic result that we're going to be getting today, as it looks like Brackley didn't have any chances really, except for the penalty to after we immediately scored the opening goal, which is so again. that was a great momentum swing of the fact that we managed to save the penalty, and that has resulted in us getting a fantastic result, and we're now level on points with Merthyr Town, as I saw in the back there. I'm going to go for Passionate because we did really well against the team, a rival team, and based off that, we're now 10 points clear of that 6th spot at the moment, which is fantastic. We're now level on points with Merthyr Town, and Salisbury. Oh, Salisbury didn't play because they had a I think they had a match postponement, which is why they didn't play in that particular match. So they will still have to play that match, but we once again have 2 games in hand over Salisbury. Hang on a minute, they had a kick-off. It says that they've got a point. Oh, I don't know what's happening there. There's probably a glitch somewhere, and the game hasn't been played. But we'll wait and see on that. But brilliant result. We continue the run of form. That's now 19 points from 21 since the Merthyr Town defeat. Absolutely fantastic, and we're continuing to put the pressure on those teams at the top, and also extending that gap below us with a 7-point gap now between ourselves and Dorchester, and a 10-point gap between ourselves and the teams just looking to get into the playoffs at the expense of Brackley, who suffered a really bad defeat today. Okay, in terms of what game to do next, I'm tempted to do either Dorchester away or Poole at home. But based off like the number of games, how many games are there? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Poole. Oh, 6 games then Poole. Oh, and 7 games then Dorchester. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 6 games to Leamington away. I don't know what to do. I could do the Salisbury game, considering where we are in the league, and then just accelerate all the way down to the last game of the season. So that's a possibility. I might actually do that instead. I might do Salisbury at home. Do all these games off camera, then do Salisbury at home, and then just accelerate all the way down to the last game of the season. Yep, actually, you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to compromise that by make a compromise, have a good big game against Salisbury, and then do the Leamington game at the end of the season, but just doing more games after that Salisbury match. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Fantastic result for us today, and the run of form continues, and hopefully we can continue that off camera, heading up into the Salisbury match. I hope you guys did enjoy the game today and the episode. If you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. Also comment to see if there's anything I can do to improve the overall series itself. And I'll see you guys for the next part, which hopefully will be the Salisbury match at home. So until then, see you later.